Live uncloned, just be different. Being like has no place here. Make your goals and keep on pushing. Just say yes and have no fear. Live uncloned. I'm so uncloned. Live uncloned. I'm so uncloned. Live uncloned, just be different. Being like has no place here. Make your goals and keep on pushing. Just say yes and have no fear. Live uncloned. I'm so uncloned. Live uncloned. I'm so uncloned. Live uncloned.
Hello, everyone. What's going on? Hey. Let me know if you can hear me and if my audio is good before we get going. Hey. It's going to be, I'm not going to be on long. So let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Can you all hear me? So let me look at the chat and see if you all can hear me. Good morning. Love the title. Let's talk about it. Good morning, everyone. Let me know where you're at. I am live streaming from my home in Atlanta, and I am streaming to multiple places. This is my first time really going live directly onto YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, our Uncloned Tribe group, my personal page, my Facebook business page. We should be in like 5 locations right now. So, hey. So my goal is not to be here super duper long. I just wanted to come and have a conversation with you all because, you know, we all have been sold the dream at some point during our career. And I want to talk about it. Because I think it's so important for us to talk about it. So let me introduce myself in case you may not know who I am. My name is Audria Richmond. I'm a marketing and launch strategist. I work directly with my clients to teach them how to create profitable marketing campaigns. I also design marketing campaigns for my clients' products and services, any big launches that they may be working on. I'm currently working on 2 marketing plans, one for a group coaching program and another one for a 12-day challenge. So I'm super excited about those marketing plans. So just in case you didn't know, I do design marketing plans. So let's get into it. Now, one of the things that, I guess you could say one of the things that's an issue, right? Especially when we talk about doing business online and things like that, we come across people who are extremely smart. And these people, we call them influencers. We call them gurus. We call them online marketers. We call them you fill in the blank, right? And these people typically have they have a huge following, or they have achieved a level of success that's extremely impressive to us. So they may have, did a $3 million launch, or they may have built, a huge following on social media, or whatever the case may be, right? And whenever you are in a state of growth and you are looking to be bigger and better than where you are right now, you tend to go out and go research. So that may mean going on YouTube, typing in certain keywords, that may mean following certain people, or it may mean investing in certain courses. And so for me, one of the things that really kind of got me into this whole online marketing thing was that I came across several gurus who really knew more than me at the time. At that time when I was really trying to learn all of this stuff, I was broke. I didn't really have a whole lot of money. And so whenever I would see someone who was doing better than me, I always kind of gravitated towards that person and desired the same results as them. Like, hey, I want to be able to grow a big business. I want to be able to travel all around the world. I want to be able to say that, I did X, Y, Z. I want to be able to get a team and this, that, and a third. And before you know it, you didn't pretty much morphed into a lifestyle or a desire that may not be yours. It may be a desperate desire. You know what I mean? Because you're like in this desperate state of need, but then now you have like this desperate desire. Like, oh, before you know it, you now are following their every move. You are investing in their, every course. You're doing all the things because you like that person. And sometimes that can be dangerous if you don't have an identity, right? And what I mean by that is that you may not know, who you are, why you do what you do. And that can be very unhealthy because you don't have an identity of your own. I remember having a vision board that, I had made with my husband. And at the time when we made the vision board, we were just cutting shit out the magazine. We were just cutting stuff out the magazine. We was like, oh, I want to be able to go here and I want to be able to, go there and do this. And I want that car. And I looked at that vision board and I was like, I don't want none of that shit. I had to be honest with myself. Like, I looked at the board and I was like, bruh, you really don't want this. You don't even know where this place is in the world that you're talking about going to. And so I realized when I looked at the vision board that these were all things that were like, I was sold into, right? I was sold in the whole idea of having a nice car and, doing all the things. But the truth was, I didn't truly desire those things. And so when you pull back the bullshit and you ask yourself like, hey, what do I really, really, really want? Like, what do I truly desire? And for me, it wasn't necessarily a thing. It was an emotion. So for me, one of those things where it's like, hey, I may not necessarily want all of this material stuff, but I do like the idea of not ever having to worry about money. I do like the idea of wanting to go somewhere or travel somewhere and not have to check my bank account. I like the idea of being able to come up with random trips on the fly and just go somewhere. And so for me, it became more so about getting to a particular feeling, not trying to get to a particular thing. Is this making sense? I hope y'all hear me. Okay. So when we talk about following gurus and the things that people are teaching us, we have to make sure that we are crystal clear on what we desire, right? We have to make sure that we are crystal clear on what we desire, what's in our heart, what feels good to us, right? And so I want to talk about my membership site. And I really want to talk about the old membership site more than I want to talk about the new one, right? So like Uncloned Tribe is amazing. And when I started to really learn the whole membership thing, it was this notion that you could create a membership site, create a plan for your membership site, and people would never leave. And that's not true, right? It's this notion that if I create a membership site and I have people paying me recurrently, that people won't leave. And I think for so long, I got sold on this idea that if people leave your membership, you a bad person, or if people cancel, something is wrong with you. And all of these gurus were teaching that if people leave your membership site within a certain period of time, that means that your membership site was pretty much trash. And for so long, I tried to fix it and fix it and fix it and fix it. And this was like more so with the Uncloned Marketing Membership. And to the point where I was just like, it drove me crazy because in my mind, I kept trying to make the Uncloned Marketing Membership what the gurus were teaching. I kept restructuring it, rechanging it, doing all of these different things that really wasn't in alignment with me, right? This is what they said was going to work. Not once did I ever try and see what would work for me. I kind of just went for like face value off what was being taught to me. And I just said, you know what? I am going to create something that's not inspired by other gurus, right? I'm going to forget what the gurus say. And that's how we came about with UnCloned Tribe. And UnCloned Tribe is not structured in a way, actually, it goes against everything I've learned about membership sites, right? We don't have a ton of content in the membership, right? Because I felt like with the last membership, we had tons of content and people never got through it. And then another thing that we did, we really wanted to double down on community and getting people questions answered, because, you know, you can sit here and learn all of this stuff, but the truth was people wanted access to being able to ask questions and get support when they needed. They wanted to be able to have access to updates and things like that. And I pretty much made UnCloned Tribe that, right? And so just like with my book launch, when I think about all the stuff that the gurus say don't do, you know, you should have, you know, one book cover. Why the hell you got 4 and 5 book covers? You shouldn't do this. It's like I went against the grain on everything. Now, I'm not saying that when you learn from people who have come before you and they're teaching you something that you shouldn't listen, right? Because I still listen, I still invest and stuff like that. I still want to learn from the experts, but you shouldn't want to learn from the experts so much that you don't have you in it. You don't have your common sense in it. You don't have your thoughts in it. You don't have your vision in it. Because when we think about what unclone means, it means to challenge the norms. It means to be the first to do it first. And so in order for you to do those things, you cannot be following everything that somebody tell you to do down to the T, right? It may be some things that I'm telling you to do. And yeah, I've achieved a certain level of success, but I'm not always right? You might decide like, okay, I heard what Audria said, but it's 2 things about that thing that she said that it don't really sit well with me. I don't think I want to do that particular thing. And you are cool with doing it, right? Like it's not you're not a bad person if you decide that you don't want to do that. And so when we're listening to gurus, when we're listening to what everybody is saying, we have to make sure that we are not going to be following people so hard that we forget who we are in the process, right? Because there's been plenty of times where I've learned something and it just doesn't work for me. Like a good example of this is I buy a lot of courses from Caucasian marketers, right? White people, and they market totally different than how I have to market to African American people, right? And so for so long, I tried a lot of those tactics and strategies, and it just didn't work well in our community, right? It just didn't. When you're talking to a group of people who are just now getting to a point where we're learning to invest and learning a lot of these high level strategies, and we're finally getting access to things that we need. I can't teach the same thing you teaching me to my people, because our culture is different. How we learn is different. How we receive and use information is different. How we leverage things is different. And I think for so long, I got so caught up in this bubble because I was learning from people who were more successful, who had more following, who had a bigger thing, right? And so you have to make sure that you don't get caught up learning from people so much to the point where you just lose yourself in the process. So can we pinky promise that we are going to get to a point in our business where we can learn from other people, but not learn from them so much that we lose ourselves in the process, right? Can we say we're not going to lose ourselves in the process? Because we need to be very crystal clear around that, okay? So it was something else I was going to say to you all. I totally forgot. But I will say this. I am on a mission to be more consistent with creating content, and not just creating content when I'm in marketing campaign mode, right? Because I'm pretty guilty of that. But I definitely want to get to a point where I am showing up more frequently. You're going to be able to see a live stream from me every single week. So if you have any ideas for conversations, topics, things that you want me to cover, make sure you drop that in the chat. I am also going to be powering up my podcast. If you all didn't know, I have a podcast. Yes, I have a podcast. I just haven't updated in a long time. It's called UnCloned Marketing with Audria Richmond. So definitely make sure you go and find that. But I'm definitely going to make sure that I show up more, not just for you all, but for myself, because I want to show myself that I can be consistent outside of marketing campaigns, and go from there. So thank you all so much for tuning in for today's live stream. I totally appreciate you all for being here with me. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Okay, that's where it's popping from time to time. You know, we do our after party and our Q&A and things over there. So definitely do that. And it looks like we have a few questions. What should a good membership site based hold on, let me reread that because I sound real slow right now. What should a good membership based on experience have? Honestly, you know, I did a membership with all of the bells and whistles, all of the plans and all of the frequency of content, and it became overwhelming. And then I'm doing a membership with less content, really hardly any content. And you know, that's a different experience. I think you should create what feels good to you, because I don't want to necessarily tell you to create something that may not feel good to you. At the very least, one of the questions you want to ask yourself is, why should somebody pay me every month? Because the truth of the matter is, when you do a membership site, guess what? You have to literally prove to people every single month why they should stay. You know what I mean? Some people are going to opt out because they feel like they have arrived and they learned enough from you, or whatever the case may be. And then it's going to be people who leave for financial reasons. It's going to be people who leave for spiritual reasons. It's going to be people who leave because they don't fuck with you no more, like whatever that thing is, right? And I think that when people, you know, decide to leave per se, you can't get caught up in that. So you got to ask yourself, why should someone pay me every single month to be a part of my thing? So I would get really, really crystal clear on that. So for me, I know people value Q&A calls. So we do 2 Q&A calls in our membership. So that's what people value. Everything else is just a plus. You know what I mean? Like if I do a pop-up training, that's a plus. If I put certain stuff in the membership community, that's a plus. But I know for a fact that people value those Q&A calls. And so I make sure that we do enough of those Q&A calls and that people get their questions answered. Let's see. Let's see. Ideas for self-publishing. Yes, definitely that. Do you all want to learn self-publishing? I was talking to our community. I was like, hey, do y'all want to learn self-publishing? Because, you know, I've published 5 books at this point, and I've learned a lot about publishing. I also used to publish a magazine called Love Noir, so I definitely have an extensive background in publishing. But I do want to know, would you want to learn self-publishing from me? Just put a "oh yeah" in the chat if that's what you would like. Let's see. I'm on a plane being unprofessional. Look, don't get kicked off that plane. I used to be a flight attendant. They don't play. Your hair looks amazing. Thank you. I love that you're so real. I appreciate that. How can we create a savvy commercial for our membership group? I just launched a membership group. I would say create compelling content, right? Commercials, you know, they do what they do, but for the most part, what really works in marketing now is content that resonates with people. Show up for your people, connect with your people. That's what works. Okay. Yes, publishing would be amazing. Your products are dope. Thank you. Can you talk about streaming across multiple platforms at once? Yes. So I am streaming across multiple platforms right now. Using a platform called Restream. Normally I'm logged into Ecamm and then go to Restream, but right now I am natively directly into Restream, and I just hooked up YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, my Uncloned Tribe Facebook group, my personal Facebook page, and my business page. So I'm like in 5 locations all at once. So I would go to restream.io. Definitely check that out. Let's see. First time here from Virginia. Hey, welcome. Yes, I want to learn about self-publishing. Okay, cool. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I got to get ready for my 10 o'clock call. So I'll see you all around. And thanks so much for tuning in and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.